who is the target audience?
Women.
No.
Only girls. She is. She. People always ask, what were you selling? I was selling a box.
Right.
My product was a cardboard box.
A cardboard box with
Cardboard
what
box.
inside?
That's what. Well, so that's the answer. That's the question. So
Right.
how do you take a complete stranger on the internet and turn them into a raving fan of your business?
Nyaki,
Sid.
it's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being on the Winners Win podcast. What's a typical week like for you?
What is a week as an entrepreneur? Like, when do we start counting week?
Let's say.
Do we start from Sunday after church? So typically it's Sunday church day,
Yes. Okay.
and then every other day is a blur day.
What's a Monday to Friday like?
Monday to Friday is team scroll, first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning as an
Team
entrepreneur.
scroll, as in that's the status?
Yes, so status meeting, 9:30 in the morning. We start our day nice and early in the afternoon.
Okay.
Take a long commute
Right.
from upstairs to downstairs. Stuck in traffic for a whole hour.
Okay.
So we do scroll where we go through all our client stuff, and then any internal projects that we're working on, and then it's just work, and then it's meetings, and it's normal.
How big is the team?
So there's 4 humans.
Okay.
It's me, Kopano, and 2 actual human beings,
Yes.
and then all the other bots that we employ.
17
obviously.
AIs.
You know,
Are you guys there already?
obviously,
Oh, wow.
absolutely.
Okay, I'm keen to jump into that. And then I've gathered without question that fundamentally and foundationally, you have typical entrepreneur DNA.
Yes.
Okay. What was the earliest recollection or the earliest moment you were like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur?
So, you know, like, you fight this thing. I think every entrepreneur has this thing where you're just like, you fight this, you're like, I'm going to own a business, I'm going to do. You fight it until you sit inside an office
Yes.
and you have to walk in every day
Right.
doing work that you absolutely, I don't want to say hate, because I never really hated any of the work that I did. It was just
Okay.
like, this is so unnecessary. Like, I'm
Right.
not changing anything. Like, I'm here, I'm writing emails, like, nothing is moving. Like,
For myself.
nothing is happening. I am attending meetings, great meetings. Yeah, I think that was that's the bubbling. It starts like that.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, but all these hours.
Where on something I could do for myself.
Yes. Well, not even for myself. Just I would spend just my time doing something else.
Okay.
I think it's spending time doing something else is probably
true.
the more important thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your whenever someone says to me, I started out very early and I was selling stuff from Chinatown.
Yes.
My ears go like bing.
Yes. As we all do.
What were you?
What was
were
I
you
selling from Chinatown?
From Chinatown.
So I was really lucky. So I was really lucky, but like when Chinatown first came to South Africa, it was like I was probably in primary school, maybe high school.
When it was still called Dragon City.
Yes, in Edlis Park at the stadium, opposite the stadium. It was like the one.
That's the one.
Right, and
It's still there?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a bit like
Touch and go?
Yeah, now, but like before, it was like then you'd have to go, then you'd buy stock price and stuff. I think I started rings. I started selling rings at school,
Okay.
and that was like the
How old?
high school,
Okay.
maybe
Sheesh.
middle school, high school.
Right.
I wasn't very good at it because. You buy something for R5 and you sell it for R6.
R6.
But then also your friends can't pay you, so you just give it to them. Yeah, but it's weird though. That wasn't, people will always be like, yeah, I made my first R100 and I knew this was what I was going to do. And
Yes.
no, I actually hated it. I was like, no, I don't like this. I don't like having to struggle
really?
like this. I don't like having to follow up with people.
Okay, debt
like
collecting.
people are dodging you because, and you just like having to explain to people how amazing your rings are when, they're like, okay, but they're just like,
Okay.
what I would actually end up doing is I would tell people like, oh no, you can buy these rings at Chinatown and give them the store so that they could go buy them themselves.
Okay, because you got tired of debt collecting.
Well, and also like I'm a helper by nature. I think that the whole thing is I actually, I have a natural affinity to help people.
Okay.
And I think maybe that's where the entrepreneurial, I suppose, thing started. But my first formal business was actually a coffee shop.
Okay. Oh, not the hair care line.
No. No.
Okay.
You know, many things on your
Many
plate
things
at the
at
same
time.
time. Wait, what is the beginning
What
of
is
it?
the beginning? Okay.
What is the beginning? No, so officially registered. We had my husband and I when we just got married. Most people have a baby.
Yes.
We bought a restaurant. We had nothing. We knew nothing about anything. I remember my cousin asking me, like, "Have you seen the balance sheet? And what are your assets?" And I was just like, "I don't know what that means." But it's a cute coffee shop.
It's a cute coffee shop.
Yeah, so we actually had a restaurant, and then from the restaurant, then I started NHCo, which was my hair business, which didn't actually start off as a business. I knew it was going to eventually be a business, but I didn't have like this is the way that it's going to be, this is the vision. I actually just started a community, started conversations online, where, so what had happened was when I was getting married, like everybody does, that I got my hair relaxed.
Okay.
And the relaxer burnt my scalp all across the front of my forehead.
Ooh.
And my makeup trial, like a week before my wedding, like I was peeling scabs off my thing. And I was like, no, this cannot be my life as a black child. So very soon after I got married, cut my hair, and I realized, never seen what my hair texture looked like. Ever.
On your scalp?
First time.
Okay.
The hair that grew out of my scalp, I had no idea what it looked like. And I started speaking to people about it, and I was like, guys, did you know that it looks like this? I mean, I was 23, 24.
Okay.
Did you know that our hair looks like this? Never felt it, never known what it looks like.
Okay.
Started a conversation, which then grew into a community, which then eventually somehow grew into...
What do you mean by never felt it, never knew what it looked like? Because you had never been bald?
I'd always had a relaxer. So typical story of a black child, of a black girl, is that from the time you are 5 years old, right, your hair is relaxed.
Okay.
Or it's most of the time. So now this new age parenting is great.
Yes.
These gentle parents are amazing. Thank you, parents, for that. But when we were growing up, relaxer, right?
Yes.
Your hair is, especially my hair, like my hair is still like very coarse. So relaxer, standard procedure in any black child's hair. And so I had always had that.
Okay.
And so moving then from not relaxing my hair to now having to, how do I deal with it? How do I take care of it?
Okay.
What is happening? Was a conversation that at the time a lot of people were having, just because of, I think, the data and the information around just the poisons and the toxins that are in chemical relaxers was like surfacing and bubbling. It was still a very new conversation.
Yeah.
And I think entrepreneurial spirit in me caught that conversation really early. And I think that's like probably another really good skill that I have, is just being able to hear things and see things before they become things. Right.
Yes.
Which is any entrepreneur. It's just like, I've been doing this thing since 1997.
Before it was
a thing.
Before.
Like I mean, when you speak about your business, you're like, I'm like I had this and I had this, and you're just like, but that's just like a new thing. You're like, no. I've been doing it. It's just you guys just found out about it now.
Or it's blown up. And so how did you turn the hair thing into a product and a business?
So
and also what happened to the restaurant?
Okay, so so that was happening while I was doing, discovering my natural hair journey, growing a community online through social media. And so how we were doing that, how we built a community, which is like one of the fundamental, I suppose, pillars in any entrepreneurship, which I believe, right, is that you build a community around your people. Even before you have an actual thing of what you're selling, like plug into what people are. Like plug into people, right? Find out what they're going through, find out what their problems are, and from that experience, then develop a product, which is, something that when I look back, I was like, that's what I've been doing all along.
For sure.
So the community and the conversation started off with So because we were in Cape Town, we used to have like meetups and connects, which meetups actually started at my restaurant. And I was like, oh guys, we've got a little location. So we'd have like, a couple of women joining, 30 women, then grew to 50 women.
Right.
Then we actually met my business partner at an event that she was running, doing a natural hair thing. And
this is Kopano or someone else?
No, this is someone else. This is Lindiwe. And she was hosting an event. She had, I think, maybe 100 people. And I was like, we're going to make this amazing. Okay. So the very next year we had 200 people come. And the very next year again, we had another 400 people. Right. So that was something that we grew and was just creating a marketplace for people who were creating products. Because at the time, we were not creating products. Like I was quite adamant that I didn't want to be a manufacturer of products, but I wanted to create the ecosystem and the community and the marketplace for it, right? Okay. So we did that physically, and then digitally what we also did is that we actually built the retail space then. So if you had a product, a natural hair product, then you would list it on there. Okay. Because we actually were like the number one, Google ranked number one, like a couple of months after I'd launched the website. Is that we were Google one, natural hair, anything. We were website number one, which was amazing. So as far as like footprint and traffic, we were generating really good views. So it was a really great place. Like if you had a product, to be able to list your product on there as a retailer. Okay. In the beginning, fulfillment would happen with the supplier. So we would do no fulfillment because I was like, again, don't want to be a retailer. So you were doing this
Amazon thing.
Like, when I tell you, like, okay.
Okay. Bezos called me, man.
Yes, I was consulting. Yeah, so we did that, generating like really good relationships with people, and the events kind of like snowballed. I also moved to Joburg as well. Oh, so we decided to move to Joburg, and then we sold our restaurant, which was really cool.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah. We sold a profitable business, which was always like the goal. Yeah. So we moved to Joburg so that I could kind of focus on this thing because I saw there was something happening, and I was just like, can be something here, can be something, can make some money. But Cape Townians as they are, Joburg was always like, and I'm from here, so it was always going to be, it was always going to end up here. So we moved to Joburg, had an event here, amazing. I think we had about 400 people attend, which is super cool. We had another event with just babies that we also had like 200 children, babies, like taking care of their hair. But the premise was educating, right? So educate people about what it is. And then by educating people, then you're creating this demand, right? You're creating that awareness that, so this is how you take care of your hair. These are the products then that you would use to take care of your hair. These are the salons or the service providers then you can use to take care of your hair. So like creating that ecosystem around the natural hair community is obviously something that we prided ourselves and we did really well. Yeah. And then we had our big planned our big event at 27. Well, we had a big event, 27 boxes, which we had about 800 people in. Okay. And then we were going to do the next one. And then the president said, my fellow South Africans, effective immediately. Yeah. And that was the end of that business. No, it wasn't. It was the end of the meeting physically, right? So like, so how then do we take something that we were doing physically in person and move it online. Right. And we had already started with the wash day boxes. It wasn't something that was like very like, because people could still just buy, you could still go to Clicks and buy your things. So we pressed accelerator on the wash day box, which is then my product, right? Which was, people always ask, what were you selling? I was selling a box. Right. My product was a cardboard box. And a
cardboard box with what inside?
That's the answer. That's the question, right? So my product was a cardboard box. So I created the online experience or the retail experience then for retailers. So what we would do then is we would partner with retailers, and our value proposition was let us get product in hand.
Right.
Because that's what every business wants, right? Especially during high competitive season, because natural hair was like booming. You know, every brand, every product was just, okay, let's go into this market. So how do we get product in hand, and how do we do it in a way that's really fun and entertaining, right? So weirdly enough, because I didn't actually study marketing, the language started coming. And what I learned, what I was doing, what we had been doing in the previous years was called experiential marketing, right? So how do we bring that experience in-house? And we did that through the wash day boxes, which was phenomenal. Did really, really well. It was really exciting. Brands loved it. Consumers loved it. We loved it. So how it would work, like logistically, is that you would send us your product as a brand. So whoever your brand was, whatever the brand is, we would package the product and we would drop a box every month. So a new product every month, which would then allow people to trial the product, well, have the product, experience it, and then trial it. And then if they wanted to buy on again, then they would continue to buy on. So they would either continue to buy in retail, which most businesses had a retail presence, or they would buy from us at retail price. So the idea was that the products were discounted, heavily discounted, which is the value add then from the customer, right? Especially because if you're trying new things, you don't want to risk it all with a, you know, 1,000
high
rand
value purchase
when you can actually pay this thing for 450 rand, delivered to your door for free, like within a couple of days. Amazing. That created a lot of hype, and it would just create like a loop, right? So the whole thing with especially experiential marketing is that you actually want people to experience your product, right? And so the premise of the box and how we sold it was, how do you create, so at the time, and I think it still happens now, but not so much anymore, is that influencers were getting press drops, right? These influencer drops. And it was like such a FOMO thing, where an influencer would get their thing, hi guys, I just got my thing, I'm going to do an unboxing. And so we created that culture around you unboxing your product. So you would buy the product, and then you would have this unboxing experience. And that was like testimonial after testimonial.
Of course, social
and so
proof.
that just like, I mean, that snowballs to like the nth degree, because, you know, oh, you just received your box. I also want a box. I also want to do this unboxing. And we would create that culture around unboxing. So we would collaborate with influencers just to show, like, you know, as, like initially we collaborated with a lot of micro influencers, like 250 subscribers or 300 followers or whatever, micro influencers, just to get the culture of the unboxing. And it was like, well, I got a box, let me do the unboxing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that is how my...
So you had really tapped into, or it seems like you have, but you really tapped into the whole community-based
community
strategy.
Community is like the heartbeat of what I believe any business, like any successful business, for me personally, I believe, starts off with a really great community. Because what community does is that it allows you to put your ground to the ear to what people actually want, and then actually offer what people want. Because what we try and what we always do is like, okay, as an entrepreneur, like what problem are you solving, right? Who are you solving this problem for? And if you can identify the who, the what becomes really, really easy, right? Which is why when we built NHCo, the what became really easy, because we understood that people didn't actually want more products. There were enough products. What people wanted was to experience the products. And once you've built a community around this thing, then the what becomes simple. And also then you can iterate, right? So
because the feedback loop is so tight.
Yes. And so is it that they want events? Yes, they want events. But is it that they want this thing? Yes, they want this thing, right? So that's the second thing. But then the third thing is to say, like, as far as the feedback loop is, what products are people actually using, what are people enjoying? And that feedback then went back to the retailer to say, like, okay, so out of the 5 products that you sent us, people actually don't need these products. People don't use these products. So I'll give you a real example is initially brands would always start with a shampoo, conditioner, or an oil and a butter or whatever. And anybody who knows anything about natural hair, if you uses it, you actually don't go through that much shampoo. You'll use a shampoo, if you shampoo your hair, which a lot of naturals don't, is that you would shampoo your hair maybe once every quarter. The other times you're washing with conditioner, so you're co-washing. So your conditioner finishes really quickly, your moisturizer and your oil finishes really quickly, but now you've got a whole stack of shampoos. So that information then gets fed back to the retailer, and then we're saying, well, actually, you don't need to R&D your shampoo. Your shampoo's fine. What you need to spend time on is these conditioners and the things. And then you would, when they bring back their products, and it's like, don't even send us a shampoo, because we already know that they have a shampoo from the last time. We're just... So that kind of information then is valuable for, any retailer, but also it's good for the consumer because they're actually getting what they want. They're not getting fed something that, it's useless. to them.
Absolutely. Okay, so does this inspire Club She Is?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Community. It's all about the community.
So what is Club She Is?
So Club She is super awesome. It is the best place in the universe. Club She is a community of women who are building their businesses.
Okay.
That's what we do.
Gotcha.
What we do inside of the club is that we teach women how to build their businesses online and as automated as possible.
Okay.
So effectively, our business itself, we're an edutech platform that uses automation and AI to teach women how to build their sales funnels. Yeah.
Apart from the fact that it's women, who is the target audience?
Women. Only girls. She is. She.
So if you went through the weeds and you're like, I'm looking for digital savvy girls who understand how to productize themselves, or what is that category
So
of woman?
which she?
Yes, which
so
she.
Typically,
we'll stay in that bracket.
Yeah, we'll stay in the she because that's very important.
Absolutely.
Because we always get the boys just like in
Trying
there,
to slide in
just
and-
like.
Okay.
So typically, we work with service-based businesses.
Okay.
So our preference, just because of the way that the system that we teach works for service-based businesses, so coaches, consultants, authors, and then any kind of service-based business.
Okay.
So this almost precludes anyone that's running an e-commerce store. And I say almost precludes it because what happens traditionally, especially when people sell products, is that it doesn't, the way that when you're building out your sales funnel, it doesn't click as seamlessly as it does if you're a service-based business.
Okay.
So products are really difficult because, I have a shampoo. Like, how am I going to create an offer out of a shampoo? Right? It washes your hair, but you can, because obviously, I've done it before. But traditionally, we like to work with service-based businesses, and also because the margins are higher. Like you just
On service-based.
Yeah,
businesses.
you make more money when you're selling services.
This is what? Courses?
Digital products, any kind of service. So accountants, lawyers, doctors.
Dentists.
Yes.
Do you limit I think you've answered this, but you limit your clientele to females only?
So within the community, we are only women.
Right.
But Club She has an agency where we offer done-for-you services for corporate clients and for other companies. So we can't unfortunately exclude corporate clients in our agency because it's boys also.
Because they selected the wrong there.
Sometimes the boys get in there. So we work with when we work with bigger companies, corporates, then we will work I suppose with the actual company, but doing basically 99% the same thing that we teach inside of our community.
What do you teach?
We teach people how to build sales funnels.
Okay.
Right. And a sales funnel, which is always the next thing, is a customer journey. So how do you take a complete stranger on the internet and turn them into a raving fan of your business?
Okay.
That's what we teach you. We teach you how to use the internet to take someone on the internet who knows nothing about you, who's never heard of you before. What do you say to them? What do you put in front of them? How do you get them into your world to attract them, to capture them, and then to monetize them? Because that's like how you make money.
That's where the growth comes from.
That's it.
Okay. How feasible is it for people to really make 7-figure businesses from productizing themselves? I'm not talking about professionals who have, to your point, a dental practice or a law firm, et cetera, et cetera. Can this happen? And in South Africa, you guys have 7 principles for a 7-figure business. How's that? Is that a viable thing?
Yes. So people, when we talk, I suppose when you talk about productizing yourself, right?
Yes.
Is that it's leveraging a skill that you have and monetizing that skill. So selling yourself is like OnlyFans or whatever. That's weird.
Yeah, we will park that one.
Yes. So, but like, how do you use information or knowledge that you have as a person, right? As a skill, as an entrepreneur, as a whatever, and how do you monetize that? So absolutely. So the clients that we work with are speaking coaches because they themselves are professional speakers, or they are HR practitioners who speak really well, and so they teach people how to speak.
Subject matter experts.
Subject matter expert, right? Or they are lawyers who are teaching people how to draft specific things, like specific contracts or whatever. Or they are authors who have this specific industry expertise in that, like that. So leveraging that type of knowledge base is absolutely monetizable. Yes. The premise though is that you have to be good at what you do. Because I think the question that people, like the missing link is that people, when we talk about marketing, we always talk about garbage in, garbage out, right? And so like if what you're presenting is garbage, you're not going to get the results that you want. And we always talk about like objectively being good at what you do. Like you actually need to be objectively good at what you do. So you may believe that you are good at what you do. And like, we don't want to take that away from you. Yes. But like, if we were going to put you on a shelf with other people, are you objectively good at what you do? And sometimes, especially, like as young entrepreneurs or as young people, that's a hard, like it's difficult to be objective about ourselves because you're just like, nah, can say it. Nah. I know it all, right?
I get it.
And you're just like, no, friend, objectively, like if we were going to put you alongside someone else who is in the same industry, are you actually as good at as you claim you are?
Right.
And more times than not, the answer is no.
No. And when the answer is no, how do you treat the person? Do you turn them away as a client, or do you have to do some development?
So we do some self-development. So if the answer is no, it's not a no, it's a not yet, right? A lot of the times it's a not yet. And it's to be able to say like, okay, so if it's a no or not yet, what can you do? What are you objectively good at? Because you may not be objectively good at public speaking in its entirety, right? But you may be objectively good in enunciation. Right. So how do you teach the world how to enunciate things? Right. That's the only thing we're going to focus on, because you are objectively good at enunciating. If you are a podcaster, you may not be able to produce a podcast from the beginning to the end. Right. Because you don't know how to get clients. You don't know how to communicate with clients before they get on a podcast. So objectively, maybe you're just really good at setting up lights.
Right.
So let's just get you
to be the light guy.
To be the light guy and be the best light guy in the world. But you cannot tell other people that you are objectively can set up a whole podcast. Because if we're going to do that, then our cameras are going to be skew. And so that's the give and take that you kind of need to have as an entrepreneur, is that you need to know where your limitations are and where your strengths are. And if you do have limitations, either you're partnering with someone or you're doing some development. I'm not a big fan of self-development, honestly, because a lot of the time so I'll give you an example of why I'm not a big fan. I absolutely 100% believe in self-development, but I think there's a limitation in the amount of time and resources that we should spend on self-development. So I'm a really bad singer. Like I am tone deaf to the nth degree. I could spend 5 years learning how to sing.
And still not get to Beyonce level. But that's a talent conversation, not a skill conversation.
But it's like similar thing, like skill, talent, let's just use skill. Like people will tell you, and singers will always do this, and I love singers. People who can sing will be like, no, if you can sing, like, and you can talk, you can sing, it just takes some training. And there are people who, like, it's just there, like, okay, hear the music. I can hear the music. It's not gonna sound the way
like it should.
That it sounds in my brain. So objectively, singing, let's not develop that skill. Let's not even attempt to do that. Let's do something else, right? I can production. I'm there. So I think that's the give and take that has to happen.
So you don't think there's a difference between talent and skill? Okay, let me give you a practical example. Sales is a skill, not talent. If someone can speak, I can teach them how to sell, right? And you have a little bit of courage, you can sell, because selling is a skill you develop. There's ways to do it, which is very different to talent. I can't draw for nothing. If you held a gun to my head now, you say, you need to draw to save your life. I need to go cash in the life
You see,
policy.
drawers will say that it's a skill. Anybody who does art, this is what I'm telling you about talented people. I'm telling you right now, ask a talented person. They'll be like, no, you just need to, I'll bring you a book. It's called Drawing with the Left Side of Your Brain. Literally that book, they claim, and we've tried it. Like I gave up halfway. Also the determination.
To get there. Okay.
So no, obviously there is skills and there are people who are like gifted, right? And you can't take that away from people. But you can operate in an area that's not your gifting, right? I'm still yet to discover what I'm talented in. And a lot of my problem with talent, and is a lot of the talents that we have are like creative stuff, right? No one says that they're talented in like, I don't know, making the bed or something.
Right. That's a skill.
Being kind. Like, is that your are you talented at being kind?
No, I think that's a personality trait.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not have a psychologist or a...
How do you and Kopano meet?
How did me and Kopano meet? So I was actually a member of the club.
Okay.
I was part of the community. I attended a couple of her events. I attended an event and then became a member of the club. And then she closed the club down a couple of years ago.
Okay. This is club she is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she closed it down a couple of years ago.
She's the founder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she DM'd me randomly like a weirdo. So we knew each other, like not socially, but like online, I suppose. She DM'd me one day and she asked me to produce a podcast. Because lo and behold, I produce podcasts sometimes.
Before they were a thing.
Yeah. So she asked me to produce her podcast.
Okay.
And I don't know, it just felt like a Holy Spirit prompt to be like more.
Right.
Like ask for more. So at the time, before she spoke to me, I had been working for a US-based agency called We Build Coaches, which is an amazing opportunity.
Okay.
Getting paid a good amount of money to do what I'm doing now. And that contract ended. And I was like, what am I supposed to do now, Lord?
Right.
And I was doing it. So then I started building. So then I started acquiring clients on my own. And then she just popped in and I was like, wait a minute, this is an amazing platform. You've got a captured audience. Like let's make it bigger. Let's do what we both can do with this. So she DM'd me in December. She had just given birth as well, because I think maybe she had like birth mom energy. And we met up in January. And then by March, we had relaunched the club.
Okay. And what's the dynamic? Who's the operator? Who is who's the technical person? And, how do you guys balance each other?
So it's so good because we've both run businesses ourselves, right? And this is where you're talking about the skill and the talent thing, right? So we've both run businesses ourselves. And they are, there is a very good, very perfect overlap in the kinds of work that I enjoy doing and the kinds of work she enjoys doing and the stuff that I would rather not ever look at in my whole entire life. So
give me an example of the things you'd never want to look at.
Like documents, like business things, like actually running your business.
Right.
Like I don't know where our CP document is. Okay. I don't know what our tax looks like.
Right.
I don't know how we pay salaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the creative in the business.
So she is very strategic.
Okay.
So she studied business and finance, right? And so the stuff, I'm just like, no, let's just make things amazing. She's like, no, but think about how we're going to make this massive,
it's
right?
It's going to cost, right?
So the strategic growth of the business and an actual business, right? Because even if you are whatever you're building, you need to think about the business itself. How does this look on a balance sheet? And come on, what is a balance sheet? Okay, remember, I don't even know what a balance sheet is. I bought and sold a whole business. Still don't know what a balance sheet is.
Okay.
So we do that. So she's very much about the business. How do we create? How do we even when we speak to clients? She's the very corporate person. She knows how to deal with white people. I'm not.
Yeah, she knows how to.
I don't know. I don't know.
She's the boardroom.
She is the boardroom,
Maneuvering.
like all of
Okay.
it. Like she'll even dress up for meetings. I would rather stay home, honestly.
Right.
I'm very much background. I think that's how we overlap.
That's how you guys balance
Yes.
each other out.
Yeah.
What have you learned about female-based communities that the world doesn't really know or understand?
That they're amazing. That they're absolutely amazing. There is a certain energy that comes when women feel safe,
Right.
when women feel seen, when women feel helped, that allows women to tap into the power that they have. Like women are creators, right? I don't know if you've ever heard this, but like my pastor always used to say, like you give a woman a seed and she'll give you a baby.
Yes.
You give her a house and she'll give you a home. You
Yes.
give her some dough and she'll make you bread.
Yes.
And that's what community allows you to do, right? It fosters that environment where women feel seen, where they feel heard, where they feel like it's possible. Because a lot of the time, right, is that we dismiss, or society and people in general are very quick to dismiss people when they don't understand something, right? And you as a person, if you don't feel safe enough to ask, you'll never ask,
Right.
If you're just like, I don't know what you are saying. Like we just had a conversation now offline where you were talking about the tech and the business, and like for me to be able to be like, I don't know what you're saying.
Right.
Like I hear all the words and you're obviously speaking a language that I understand because it's English, but I actually don't know what you're talking about, right? And it doesn't take, and it's not because I'm stupid. It just takes for you to be like, so you know how there is an egg and a banana? What I'm doing is an egg. Like, and then I get it. And that's what community allows us to do. That's what the closeness of the membership and of having something like that allows you to do, is that we're able to take things slowly and take things to a place where people actually understand and be able to flesh it out so that you actually see it in real life, how it looks like in your day to day. Yeah.
And what's your vision for the future when you think about Club She's?
We want to be big, man. We want to do magical things. The vision is, what is the vision? Oh, 1,000 women, 1,000 women. That's our vision.
1,000 women, 1,000 women?
Yes, 1,000 women, 1,000 customers. So we want to help 1,000 women get 1,000 customers. Yeah, I had to think about that one.
That's a good exponential.
Yes, yeah. Okay. So we want to reach 1 million women, but we do that by 1,000 women reaching 1,000 women. So 1,000 women, 1,000 customers.
Got you.
Yeah.
Back to the target audience. Can you take a group of females from a previously disadvantaged community, get them into Club She Is, and in 12 months, get them to build real businesses? Or do they have gone through something before, right? So they come with a degree, or they have, previous work experience or whatever. What's the formula?
So, previously disadvantaged. Are we not all previously disadvantaged?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Previously and currently.
Previously and currently.
Okay. So the premise of how you need to have.
If I may interrupt, let me
Yes.
put it this way. What I mean by previously disadvantaged is someone who has not had access to the internet.
Okay.
Who has not had access to a mobile phone, access to data, doesn't know how to browse, search, or access information.
Yes.
That is someone I classify as generally as disadvantaged in general.
Yes.
Whether previous or current, just disadvantaged.
So the blanket statement is no.
Got you.
Because we're building digital businesses, right? So there's a level of understanding that you need to be able to navigate the internet and be able to, and you're using the internet, right? Ideally, your customers are going to find you on the internet.
Correct.
So if you're selling a spaza shop, if you have a spaza shop, you're not on the internet. You don't need to be on the internet, right? Yes, there are principles and practices that you can absolutely implement as part of a club, as part of a inside of Club She Is. But a lot of what we do is how do you get yourself online, and how do you build online? So I have a really good example. There's a lady who sells. She has a thrift store. And she does everything that we teach her except for the online stuff. And she still makes 45,000 Rand per month selling secondhand clothes.
Okay.
Doing everything except for the online part. And we were just like, but do the online part, you will.
And you can scale.
She's just like, nah, I like the boot of my car business. That's her thing. Like she sells from her house and from the boot of her car, but the principles that we teach her, she uses, just not online.
So there's offline principles, as it were.
I mean, there is, right? It's about communicating. How do you communicate with your people? So she's actually capturing. So I mean, the framework that we teach in our framework, it's called SMART.
Right.
So it's about super offer, a marketing system,
right.
Automation,
right.
R is recurring revenue, and then T is traffic, right? So it's to say, how are you getting all 5 of those things? So what's your offer, right? Which is a super offer. What are you saying? So her super offer, we've developed it, just even selling secondhand clothes, is you buy the secondhand clothes. If they don't fit, if you don't like them, bring them back in 2 weeks. Super offer, right? Cannot compare with anybody else. I'd be stupid to say no. Also, it's a secondhand. There's only one of these things. So if I don't like it, I know I'm going to get it from someone else. Marketing automations is to say, how am I capturing the person? So marketing automations talks about attract, capture, monetize. So how am I capturing the person? So for her, it's WhatsApp. So she makes sure she takes everybody's WhatsApp contact information, and she will message group broadcast every week to say, hey guys, this is the new thing that I have inside of my store. It's 5 days and then it's going to be gone or whatever, the system that we've given her. And then A is for automation. So she will do like a blast, which is automatically sending to everyone at the same time. And then R is recurring revenue. So she doesn't do recurring revenue. She should, but she doesn't really. But I mean, she's sending over and over to the same people. And then traffic is like, how do you getting traffic? So for her, it's WhatsApp statuses. It's stuff like that.
So WhatsApp is online. So she's just got a limited online exposure.
Correct.
As opposed to, the depth of...
Yes, of email marketing and then WhatsApp automation. So the system that we build, that our girls can build on coming very recently or very soon, is that they will be able to build like automated WhatsApp communication. So when someone comes into your world, a bot will be able to take over your entire WhatsApp communication, as opposed to you having to, okay, what size do you want? Right? So you set an intent for your bot, and the bot will then take over the WhatsApp, whether it's on WhatsApp, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's in Facebook. Just set an intent, and then the WhatsApp automation will kick in.
Got you.
Yeah.
If it's not too personal, what does it cost to be a part of?
So currently, the membership is 349 Rand per month.
Okay. And every member pays a monthly membership.
So every member pays a monthly membership. So then we do the membership, and then what we have to second to that is we have we do masterminds, which are more personal group coaching type programs, where we sit with you for 8 weeks in a mastermind, and we help you develop some of your
key products.
Yes.
Okay. So you basically learned how to take a funnel and apply it into any vertical.
Correct. Yeah.
That's so interesting. All right. These 17 AI agents, the 17.
Bots.
How has that changed the face of your business, as it were? How long ago did you integrate AI into the business?
So again, when you're too ahead of people,
right?
When you're ahead of people, I had a podcast in 2019 called Growth. We spoke about AI.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, I was talking about AI.
Yes.
So now when ChatGPT out, yes, they finally get it. You'll see what I've been talking about. So how we bring in AI and why we bring it in. So how we bring it in is for every client, every agency client that we have, we build a bot for, which then allows us to, as team, build the normal culture of the person. So in terms of branding, in terms of word association, in terms of voice, tone of voice, right? How does this person speak? So what we do is we record all our meetings with our clients, and we upload it onto a specific bot. So every client of ours has a specific bot. And so then we are able to then reference, hey, Penny, this was said, or I think this was said, what was said about this type of thing. And so that creates for us a level of transparency and a level of like uniformity in the business where everybody has the same information, where we all understand the same thing because we're using a specific, a central piece of essential databases, effectively, of information.
Okay.
So we don't have someone sitting in the meeting taking notes because that's a dud job, right? Like you upload
now
the
we have
notes.
note takers, right?
Well, yeah. So we don't even use the note takers, but we upload it onto your bot, and then the recording is there, and you can reference it to your heart's desire.
Please personalize that experience. If I'm a customer.
Mm-hmm. So not every...
Is this like a characters.ai type of thing?
No, so inside of ChatGPT.
Okay.
So inside of ChatGPT, you can build your own bot. Mm-hmm. So every agency client of ours, not Club Sheet, not membership, right? Just to preface that, not all of you guys have bots.
What?
Yeah, no, not every. So we do have bots that people can use inside of the Club Sheet. So we've got, like, her name is Funeka. So Funeka does all our sales copy for members inside of Fast Track. So if you are trying to build your sales copy, basically what we've done is we uploaded all the resources that we have inside of Fast Track, which is our big mastermind program, inside there so that you can then use Funeka for that. But as far as from a client level, it's to say, Ted is our client. We don't have weekly meetings, but we have monthly meetings with Ted, and this is Ted's entire business. So put all that all those resources onto there. And so if there's something that we need to do, we're doing email campaign, Yeah, Ted's bot, we'll call him something. So Tommy, draft me some emails for this campaign. I want a 7-day nurture sequence for this campaign. And we've got you talking about your product.
Okay.
Because that's the important part, right? Is that ChatGPT is just not only, but is as powerful as information that you put into it. So by using the information, the way that you speak about your product, the tone of voice that you have, we get to cater the copy so that it actually resonates with you as Ted, the client, but also then your customer, because you're talking, they're hearing you talk to them. Yeah.
So Funeka is connected to a ChatGPT API and then feeds back into your master sort of platform.
Yeah.
And the outlook for this, does it change to voice? Does it, how far can it go?
It can go as far as ChatGPT allows it. So you can speak to Funeka.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just ask Funeka whatever you want. And then what happens is we send our clients their bot. So you can then have your bot. So Ted will have, let's call him Teddy. Mm-hmm. So you would have your bot, Teddy. Mm-hmm. And then you could, ask, like, Teddy, we had this meeting with Nyaki Tshabangu last week. What did we speak about or whatever?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which you should totally have in any business.
Yes, you should.
And it's not difficult to build. Like, it really is not. Okay. It's not you don't have.
And customer support bots, have you guys started to do that as well?
No. So customer support bot, we will integrate into our platform. So we're like rejigging a few things, just implementing more AI technology into how we deliver, especially for delivery. But we don't actually have a lot of customer support. So customer support for us looks like automations in the DMs. So because a lot of our support comes from WhatsApp, so hey guys, whatever's happening. Yeah. So we do have our automation kicks in inside of our DMs, like Instagram DMs. So if you're talking to someone who's trying to help you, most of the time it's a human, but a lot of the time it's a bot, especially if it's specific to a specific program.
Okay. So in your DM, was it your bot that responded?
No. My personal DM was me personally. But yeah, we're not there yet. But it's not a difficult thing. I think like the solve for AI is always a volumes thing, right? It's like, is this worth doing something?
The tokens that it's going to cost you to.
No, AI is not that expensive. It's not that expensive. We don't get like the volume of traffic in terms of,
It's still negligible.
Yes.
Okay. And agentic systems, have you guys started playing around with those? Yeah.
Ooh.
So ChatGPT have this model called Operator.
Yes.
Operators are very different to workflow bots.
Oh, like agents?
Yeah.
Yes, I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Okay.
Not yet.
Because I was going to ask you, how do you think AI is going to change the way you guys execute on your funnels, for example?
I actually don't know. I think from a copy's perspective, yes. Like if you know where I want to go and what I'm probably going to spend. So my self-development is that I try and spend an hour a week learning something new about AI. That's just like a personal development thing. So like last week I was learning like image generation, but like beautiful images. Like I can do some nice things on
which
AI.
platform?
On ChatGPT.
Okay.
So I try to limit my, because I have shiny object syndrome like every entrepreneur.
Yes.
I try and limit my AI to ChatGPT. Like honestly, like it's just, if I start, I will never finish on any kind of chat, on any other AI. So I'm just like, okay, let's focus on chat. Let's see how far chat can go with this. So like last week I was doing AI generation, beautiful, draw South African women, like got it, nailed it, like can do the thing. But what I want, where I'm going and what I want to streamline is just customer onboarding. So how do we onboard our clients more effectively and efficiently on AI without it feeling detached, right? Because the whole thing, and I think why we do really well with our agency is that we give people that personal connection, right? We give people that hand-holding. A lot of the time, a lot of agencies, you just feel like, okay, an intern is going to do it or someone is going to do it. Like Upon and I actually get on a sales call and we actually speak to you. We help you strategize your offer, which is for the most part, the part that people struggle with.
Yes.
The technical stuff and the delivery, you can get anybody to do that. But yes, the onboarding and that process, I think for us when we get to a point, might be AI, maybe, I don't know. But yeah.
Okay. That's super interesting. The images I saw you do, is it the miniature versions of yourself in the boxes?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you using 4.0 for that ChatGPT?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that was fun. That was just trendy. That was the trend.
But that model is crazy.
It is. I'm actually enjoying the thinking process. Like, I don't know if you've realized now, it's like it actually goes through, you give it an instruction, it will show you how it's reasoning and how it's thinking.
If you use O3, then that's the reasoning model.
Yes.
If you use 4 and then you use 4.5, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I hate the naming conventions because it's so weird. Do try Google AI Studio. I think they grappled in the beginning to catch up.
Yeah.
But the interface is amazing.
Okay.
And they've just launched 2.5, which is brilliant.
I'll try it.
It's absolutely brilliant.
You see, now you're taking me down the rabbit hole. When am I going to do my work when I'm busy playing with AI?
This is it. This is it. I think it's the rabbit hole we should all go down to. I don't know if you saw the CEO of I think it's Reddit or something. Who just told his entire business that your job will be
if you can't validate why you're still here, if you can't explain why we're keeping you. Yes.
What's your message to your community? Are you guys sort of getting people to change their posture towards it, or you're still like?
So we introduce AI to a lot of people as your first employee.
Okay.
Right. So when you join, especially our program, it's like by the end of this program, you're going to have one employee, and that employee is Funeka, right? And she's going to help you with because a lot of the work that takes away from the experience, especially when you are an entrepreneur, is the social media part, right? It's the marketing, it's the sales copy, it's the emails, it's all of that stuff that you're coming in and you have to now be a copywriter and you try to now be a marketer. Now you also have to be a media buyer. It's just like there's a lot of things that if you are just you're just trying to sell your coaching services, like why must you do all of this other stuff? And so all of that other stuff is going to be taken over by your new employee, Funeka.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking about growing the community, is this open to people who have a 9-to-5 and can do this on the side as well? Okay.
Yeah. So our biggest our biggest population group are 5 to 9ers, so side hustles.
Okay.
Right. So it's a side hustle. You just want to make an extra, whatever, 20K in your business, 35K in your business, 50K in your business.
Yeah.
Some of our clients, even in agencies, still have full-time jobs.
Okay.
And they're just oh, here's money for holiday. Oh, I can put a down payment on a car. Like when you know what you're doing and when you actually leverage, especially if you are highly skilled at what you do, you can absolutely leverage your skill in a way that brings you. And we don't call it leveraged income, but we don't call it passive income. We call it leveraged income.
Yeah.
Right. So how are you using your skills, your talents, your resources to bring in that leveraged income?
Okay.
Which, when you are an industry expert, again, objectively good at what you do,
Right.
doesn't become. It's not difficult. Yeah.
It's not difficult to achieve the numbers.
Yes.
Okay. And then when you're thinking about the business generally, what's the hardest thing about running Club Shears?
What's the hardest thing? I don't know, actually. What's hard about running Club Shears? I love doing it. I really enjoy it. It's like,
Yeah, that's a great answer.
what's hard about it? I have no idea.
You have no idea what's hard about it.
What's hard about your business?
What's hard about my business? Relying on brands
Okay.
to drive a key part of your revenue. Because there's a ton of people, at least on the media side, on the live events. So the live events, you have a ton of people with competing products, all competing for the same pool of funds. You're dependent on when brands adjust their budgets, their strategies, et cetera, right? And then there's the people component. We do business with our friends. And so when someone shifts from a very critical position, you sort of have to figure out where to start from that point of view. And then your input costs, how you execute your events. Our events are sort of 360 events. So we do a production, we go to a massive venue, we're doing ticket sales. And so there's a whole bunch of things.
Moving parts. Yeah.
That you have to keep abreast of. But I'm a ninja like that. So it's the stuff that...
But would you say it's hard?
It's the hard thing about the hard thing.
Yes.
But it's because I had someone say it very well. Carol Abade, she actually said where you're sitting now. And she said it's just compounding.
Yeah.
Right. So the longer you've compounded the skill to handle that level of complexity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it generally is hard.
Yeah.
But I think I've done it for long enough that I know how to maneuver.
I think I have an answer. And for me right now in the season, I think it's growing team.
Okay.
I'm not very good at delegating. I don't know if I've got control issues.
Right.
Same one. That gist.
Right.
But Kopano's really good at it.
Okay.
And so I'm learning. This is my year of delegating.
Okay.
Where I'm just like,
what?
when they ask what are you working on?
Right.
And you're just like, I'm working on a whole bunch of things, and I have to clear my entire plate and be left with nothing. And you're like, but what am I going to do? What do you mean? Like everything?
Right.
What am I going to do? And it's like, obviously I'm going to find things to do because there's other things that I need to focus my energy on. And so I think for me, that's the big thing. It's like, it's delegating.
Okay.
It's team.
Do you feel like the business doesn't run properly if you're not there?
No.
Okay.
No. I think the business would run amazingly if I wasn't there. I'd miss it. I don't think it should run without me.
Okay.
But I think the way that we've built our business is that, it can run quite well. Not without, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you have to build a system.
Well, we've built this. The nice thing is that because we've got the system and we've got the SOPs and we've got all the training, is that you can bring people on board and we can execute on the work. And that's what you want to be able to do, right? You want to be able to build a business that runs without you. Otherwise, you're just creating work. You just create self-employment. And so we're at that point where it's like we're clutch balancing self-employment with employment.
Got you.
Where it's, do we bring more people on? Or do we take on more by ourselves, and then it's just like, but then if we leave, or if we're not able to do this, then
Right.
yeah.
Okay, there's a balance thing that you have. You thought about expanding into other African markets if you haven't already?
So we've reached 14,000 women in 51 different countries. So we do have
All Pan-African?
No,
Or
not only
just
Pan-Af,
global?
just
Okay.
globally.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because wherever you are online, you're
You
online,
can do it.
right? It's like there's no like restriction on like, no, we don't service people in this country. So that's the
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah.
What's the distribution? So what I mean by that is the majority of your members are obviously South Africa. What's the second and third biggest market?
South Africa, Botswana. Wow, the Botswana girls love us.
Okay.
And then
How did that happen?
I think just naturally. I think there's a good relationship between Botswana and South Africa online. It's just
Okay.
naturally there's just an affinity with, because I don't think there's a lot going on in Botswana. I mean, they've got a very small population.
Yes.
So Botswana, and then internationally, it's actually like countries like the UK and the Netherlands for some reason.
Oh, really?
But I think it's just like a black girl thing. you
Okay.
know, like
That was my next question, actually.
yes.
Okay. What's the...
Predominantly black girls.
Predominantly.
Black girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. What is the, before I let you go, what's the one business, and you're sort of paying this forward to someone who might have the time. What's the one business idea you've not had the time to execute on?
You sent me this message and I was like, I need to think about it.
And by the way, no one ever gets that part. But because you were so patient with me, I was like, okay, I'll send this.
And I mean, it has to be something with AI, but like something, what sometimes we do as business owners, that we sell features, we do AI stuff, we don't actually sell an outcome.
Right.
So the outcome for me would be something that makes people, I'll say more money, because that's always obviously that's always
The bottom line.
always the outcome. But being able to scale without just something in your a system, a plugin or something, a technology, that allows you to grow your business,
Right.
but using AI.
Okay.
I know that's just basically I've said nothing, these 5 words, but think about it. That's your homework, I suppose.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
You know what actually would probably be?
Yes.
It would probably be something around Fintech, and I know you're in Fintech, and I'm just gonna leave this in you because
I need to.
Yes. It's I'll tell you what the issue is, especially globally, and a big part of why we struggle to whatever transact
Right.
outside of our borders is payments. It's very difficult for me to accept payments from Kenya. It's very difficult for me to accept payments from Nigeria. It's very difficult for me to accept payments from Angola. I don't know what it is. It's just the system don't allow it.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're an entrepreneur and you can solve that problem,
It
and
is our
not
biggest-
in US dollar, right? Because the thing is if you do it, then you have to do it in US dollar, which means that you're dependent on
The currency fluctuations.
on the currency fluctuations, but also on the exchange, right? On the not on the platform, on the US platform.
Correct.
So for me, that would be something I wanna get money from Kenya, guys. There's money in Kenya. I can't get money from Kenya because these people won't allow me to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, as in, you receive it in shilling and somehow it's in your account in rand.
Somehow,
Right.
without me paying more than
5% transaction fees.
I feel like even 5% would be fine.
No, it's
There was a time, I was actually, so when I was doing the boxes, the wash day boxes, the girls in Botswana, I would also get a lot of girls in Botswana, would deposit money into my bank account, and it would cost me more than what they've deposited to take that money out.
that's crazy.
So please stop buying at that point. You're just no,
Right,
I'm
right.
not selling to you. It's too expensive to
It's
sell
a net
to you.
loss. Have you played with crypto?
No.
Okay.
I have bought it before and then I sold it because Yeah, I have a thing about my dad has a thing about like don't invest in things you don't understand. So yeah,
The mechanics need to get there. One more thing, you had said something to me earlier. You said, as marketers or as entrepreneurs, the first thing you do is you immediately ask your customer to marry you. Explain that.
So the premise of what we do and what I do is how do you get a stranger on the internet to become a raving fan of your business, right? So at some point you are married, right? The person that you married was a stranger.
Right.
They did not know who you were, no idea. And somehow, by some miracle, they've let you into their lives, right? And now they are raving fans of you.
Right.
What did you do to do that, right? And if we look back, first, you probably asked her first you said hi.
Yes.
Right? Said hi. That's number one. The second thing was, can I get your number, right? Maybe let's chat.
Right.
You chatted, you followed up, right? You invited her on some dates, maybe, right? You introduced her to your friends and your family, maybe a few more dates, and then eventually you asked her to marry you. But
gifts and
micro commitments. We call them micro commitments, but there was a series of yeses that your wife had to take in order to become your wife. And if as entrepreneurs or as marketers, we need to think about those yeses in our business, those micro commitments that people need to make in order to get them to become customers and then raving fans of our business. Because ultimately what you want, when we talk about raving fans, we talk about someone who's bought from you, who will buy from you again. And even if they don't buy from you, who will tell someone about you. Because the cheapest customer is the one that you have, and the best customer is the one that's going to tell someone about you.
Right.
So what are you doing to attract, to capture, and to monetize that person? That's it. And there's a series of yeses that someone needs to make in order to do that, right? So when I see something on TikTok, when I see something on Instagram, what is the first yes? It's like, yes, I'm going to give you the 5 seconds of my time to watch this thing, right? And so how are you optimizing that experience for those 5 seconds? The next thing is, okay, what's the call to action there? Yes, I'm going to read your caption. That's another yes. Yes, I'm going to click the link in the bio. I'm going to comment to get this thing. Yes, I'm going to open up that link. Yes, I'm going to subscribe to this thing, right? And so it's being able to provide value at every step of your customer journey, basically every step of your funnel, to be able to get a person to say yes to those things. Because if you are not able to get those yeses, you've lost that person, right? If at some point your wife was like, nah. Right. If she was like, if you asked her for your number, you asked for the number and she was like, nah. Right? Either you have to try again,
right,
or that's it. And most of us would give up, but what you should actually do is try again.
Okay, until you...
To a point, obviously, until there's a restraining order.
Nyaki, I think you're brilliant, and I think the world needs your brilliance. I started this podcast, like I said to you earlier, because I want to talk to the best of us. And I think you represent the best of us.
Aww.
All the best to Club She Is.
Thank you.
And your future endeavors.
Thank you.
And this is definitely not the last time we're speaking.
Absolutely.
It's the Winners Win podcast. It's a wrap.